You know, the longer and longer you stare at this locomotive, the better and better it looks. And the thing that's kind of mind-blowing about it is it's made out of bricks.
I've broken it.
He broke it. Normally the locomotives have bricks in them. They're not normally made of bricks entirely, especially not plastic ones.
Yeah, in a way that there actually is fire brick in there.
Yeah,
not actual fire brick, but there's bricks where the fire would be.
Yes.
So kind of? I don't know.
Yeah. Do we call it fire brick? I don't know. What's up, guys? This is Heis.
What's up, guys? This is Glenn?
Yes.
Not Heis.
Emperor of the North.
All of the above.
All of the things.
All of
and
them.
Today we're at Glenn's place looking at Glenn's magnificent Lego trains. Speaking of Emperor of the North.
I'm gonna highball out of the yard here real quick.
I won't be going yard speed, I'm gonna highball.
He's gonna highball in the yard!
Absolutely.
And you've uncovered another beautiful thing right behind it.
I have.
So,
One of my babies.
Lego started making Lego trains, God, probably 20 years ago, 25 years ago.
Way more than that. They started making trains in the 60s.
Oh, did they really?
They made
Okay.
trains in the 60s, and they did not obviously look like this. They didn't
Right.
look like the trains that Lego currently makes don't look anything like
Right.
this.
I remember they came out with the Warbonnet F unit.
Yep. That would have been around 2002 or so.
Okay, so yeah, like
I've got one of those somewhere
20
in the
plus years ago,
closet.
because I had one too.
Yeah, it's a good set.
And
Good taste.
you've heard of those things, and maybe you've seen those things, maybe you're hip to that. But what Glenn does here is something entirely different than that, and entirely ridiculously cool. When you take a look at this whole consist, only little bits of it look like they're actually Lego. Everything looks just fantastic, and you've designed all of it yourself.
Most of everything
it.
most of everything that you see here is either my design or designed by a friend that built me a copy or allowed me to build a copy of it.
Sure.
But all of the engines that I have out right now are my own design.
Right.
A majority, well, maybe about 2/3 of the rolling stock is mine as well.
Dude, it's so cool, and so cool to see run.
Absolutely. I should fire up the Burke, by the way.
Do it. Yeah.
So they're battery powered, so you
Right.
got just lithium ion 7.4 volt 2200 milliamp hour batteries. These are more readily available and therefore less expensive than the Lego solution that a lot of people had been using in previous years. And so this is just one of the concessions that a lot of people like me who claim to do serious scale modeling with Lego have had to make.
Well,
But they work very well.
you can say that you claim to do serious Lego scale modeling, but if I'm correct, you literally won a public choice award with this very train that's running on the inner loop right now.
I did.
Just this year.
I did. That was the first public vote award that I've ever won. My model of 19 and the Emperor of the North consist behind it. I've got a photograph. This guy
Yeah.
is a slide that I own. I bought that, and it's taken during filming of Emperor of the North in 1972, and it shows the entirety of the consist before they make the run to Portland.
Right.
It's because if you've seen the movie, which presumably a lot of people that watch your content will have seen the movie, the train goes through kind of a few different iterations, but this is how you see it first on the screen. You've got 19, obviously, the tank car, the single sheet boxcar, a pair of double sheet wooden boxcar, and then this reefer, and the OP&E caboose there on the back.
Right.
And so it took a lot of years and time to research this specifically to do it properly. A lot of research went into, obviously, 19. A lot of research went into finding where all of these pieces of rolling stock ended up, because a lot of them still exist and scattered around different parts of the world. It was a really interesting challenge to try and find all of those details and get it right, and then translate that into Lego. And I mean, that's kind of a specific example. I mean, things like 763, nickel plate Burks obviously are significantly more well documented, but it's the same kind of modeling process that, somebody who does, say, Proto 48 would do, because there are a lot of scratch builders too, and that's essentially what I'm doing here.
In O scale, which
it's very, very close to
Lego's
O-scale.
very similar to O scale, 1 to 48, but when you think of O scale, you tend to think of Lionel 3-rail O stuff.
Right.
The folks who really do 2 scale accurate 1 to 48 two-rail stuff.
That's what you call Proto 48.
Right, Proto 48. That's one whole adventure, as is this. And I think I've remarked at this, I've seen your models for quite some time now. I've brought them up a couple times on videos.
A little bit.
Bragging about my buddy Glenn and his cool toys that he designs.
You're far too kind.
But the one thing I do love is when you see the 763 and you see it run by, it really just looks like a model right up until it doesn't.
When you look really closely at it.
When you take a look, drive rods, drive wheels, and then you see the studs for the firebox, and you're like, oh wait, those are Lego bricks. And you see the coal load is, you know, singular Lego pieces. But everything else has been so artfully done that you can't really necessarily tell it's in just Lego parts unless you're a Lego expert and you're used to these things and staring at them.
Oh, believe me, I've spent a lot of time staring at these things.
Like, I've just now realized that your stack is
It's a wheel sub. It's a wheel hub, essentially. Wheel center.
Yeah.
It's all about just finding the uses for different parts.
Right.
I mean, that's a wheel center there. I can't tell you how many handless Lego minifigures I have because I use a black minifigure hand in connecting all the kinds of piping and things like that.
Oh, sure. Oh, yeah.
You can see them kind of down in there if you look in the right places. So, sorry to all of those minifigures, but...
Well, you know.
And so, a good example of that actually is if you look on the front,
sure,
where the bell is. So if you didn't already know, nickel plate S2s, at least in part, if not all of them, had steel bells painted yellow because they were war baby locomotives. 763 was completed almost 80 years ago, plus a week, in September 1944. And so I used the piece to model the bell is actually a fez, which is a headgear piece for a minifigure. It's like one of those, you know, kind of cone-shaped hats, but not quite a cone.
Right.
That's essentially what that is, but it looks like a bell, so.
Right. So cool. So it's not entirely 100% Lego.
That is correct.
What would the percentage be if you had to guess?
The range that I kind of tell people is between 95 and 98%, and that's kind of just quick guessing.
Sure.
But yeah, 95 to 98% stock Lego. So as far as 763 is concerned, the things that aren't Lego are going to be things like the driving wheels. I designed all of those myself. Those are 3D printed.
Right.
In this case, the trailing wheels follow the same process, and all of the rods and valve gear as well.
Right.
I print those through different services, but just to get the tolerances and finish that I know I'm looking for. And then a couple of different things, like there's some aftermarket parts like clips and things like that. The pilot and tender wheels are all made by a third-party company. They're injection molded because back several years ago we needed alternatives to the Lego solution because Lego stopped doing it this way and started doing it another way. So there's a company that has filled in a lot of gaps like that for us, and a lot of people like myself kind of fill in gaps in our own ways as well.
Right.
But about 98% Lego at the end of the day.
Which is, honest to God, quite impressive.
Well, thank you.
When you take a look at it, and you look at the whole train, and everything that, everything following the engine is just about as pretty as the engine itself. And I mean, it really hides the fact that it's Lego, just in the right way. I mean, it's almost, when I think about it, I've been thinking about this the whole time I've been here because Glenn's been showing me all sorts of stuff as we've been hanging out. As I look at it, it's kind of almost like an art choice.
That's how I describe it to people.
Right, where you see a couple pieces that are obviously Lego, but the rest of it feels directly like a model. It's just enough to say, hey, this is a model, but it's also Lego. And
exactly.
It's almost, the way you do it, it's just like, oh yeah, by the way, it is Lego, right?
Exactly.
And it's cool the way the balance works out.
I like describing it to people just like any other modeler would. I mean, whether they know it or not, I think that any scale modeler, prototypical freelance, what have you, is looking to represent the real world around them in an artistic way.
Right.
And there are, of course, relatively infinite number of ways of doing that. And Lego is a very inherently challenging medium to use because you're using something that wasn't designed to be used this way and then pushing that envelope kind of far.
Yeah, what is one Lego stud?
The way that I determine that, I didn't determine this, but the scale that I use is that 8 studs, so 8
The
bumps
little bumpy
wide.
guys,
One bump, which nominally is 8 millimeters wide. So 8 studs is 10 feet. And that was decided several years ago by people who have been doing this for longer than I have. And that was decided, basically they wanted to make a container port for like shipping and transloading and things like that. And they decided that they were just going to set the length of a 40-foot container at 32 studs, which falls really well into the Lego system, and it translates really well into American trains and rolling stock, because generally most trains and rolling stock are around 10 feet wide.
Right.
And Lego is kind of built off of, you know, binary systems almost, 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32 kind of thing.
Right.
Even numbers are generally liked, and so that's kind of where the scale comes from.
Sure.
And so that boils down into, by the number, it's 1 to 46 and some decimal if you want to get really fine and out in the weeds, but we kind of just say it's about O scale at the end of the day.
Right. Right, and at the end of the day, that's what it is. And I mean, when you see one of the trains, it feels like it's a Lionel train car in terms of size,
Exactly.
which is my touchstone, of course,
Exactly.
with trains this size, because I'm perverted and like 3RL 02. But anyway, these, I mean, they're really works of art. The whole thing, and eagle-eyed viewers among you may recognize some of the boxcars here, although with different lettering on them.
That's right.
Because there's one in the background of most of my talking head camera shots.
That's right. There
Because
is.
Glenn built me one that was
is.
you
Yep.
were so kind to give to me last year.
Well, yeah,
last
almost
August.
a little over
Yeah.
a year ago now, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it has yet to turn a wheel on Lego track.
It is true. I was supposed to bring it, and then space and concerns and stuff and things and words, and here we are. We will make it happen. Perhaps,
some point, yes.
Perhaps with Brett, who also does
Yeah,
Lego
we gotta
train
get,
things.
gotta get together with Brett.
Though his are narrow gauge on the same track, so the
Yeah,
scale's
he's a large,
different.
he's a large scale modeler.
Right. So it's kind of like the 7.5-inch gauge
Yeah,
live
it's
steam
the same
thing.
Or like G, and what's the scales, like G scale versus like F?
Right,
and-
like 1 to 22.5 versus 1 to
something-
20.3.
yeah, something really
blah,
weird.
blah, blah. Yeah.
Same kind of thing.
So the fun thing about this is you've built, you know, obviously the 2 trains we're seeing here.
Correct.
But you've built so many more.
I have.
Do you know how many locomotives and cars you've made at this point?
People keep asking me about that, and I really don't. I could count it for you if you give me enough time, but
Right.
off the top of my head, I do not have a number.
Right. I mean, for context, behind camera in shot, there's approximately 5 or 6 giant Rubbermaid tubs full of more rolling stock. But this one's only half full.
Yeah, well, I pulled the rest of it out.
Right.
So, you know, refrigerator cars, you know, another tank car, currently my only hopper, which that'll get changed at some point. And then the big bins have the really fun stuff in it. I've got,
Oh my God.
I forget what I have in here sometimes. It's a pair of New York Central Mohawks. My favorite is that one. Buffalo Creek and Galway 13, US Army S-160, a couple of gondolas. That's another reefer. This one's actually kind of cool. It's a Buy War Bonds boxcar from the ATSF.
Oh, cool.
It went along with the Mohawk
Right.
when I designed it. Really love that. I gotta put it back
And I
away.
got the decal work, the amount of work that you did
So-
to make that all right.
I actually get all of my artwork done from a friend who, when we started this, was kind of just doing it for, you know, ourselves and for, you know, online website, which we sold instructions through, which is Brick Model Railroader. But he has since been hired by Rapido and does it professionally now.
Oh my God.
So I get...
Well, I mean, you can tell that the quality's there. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
My friend Kale does all that for me. And more, you know, more box cars, a couple of tank cars. This is a freelance 10-wheeler. It's a Southern Pacific C9 consolidation.
Cool.
A lot of fun stuff in there.
No kidding.
Yeah, plenty of stuff, and it, you know, it keeps me poor. As a joke, people will hopefully understand that.
Yeah, that is the one thing about, I mean, any model train, anything is not cheap. And the Lego stuff does not deviate from that.
It does not. It starts, when you start doing it this way, it starts to get into like O-scale brass territory.
Yeah,
Pretty quickly.
It's not inexpensive, put it that way.
Yeah, not to do it this way, and you know, I I push the envelope really far
Right.
with a lot of these things, which I like, but not everybody does it that way, and there's, if somebody tells you you're doing it wrong, then they're wrong.
Right.
But, it's a lot of fun, and it's, again, artful way of representing the world. And
So
I usually just bring 5 of those with me anywhere, which is pretty much all of the stuff that I built after 2019.
sure. So a tub a year-ish.
Something like that, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, something very close to that.
And speaking of, you've got some stuff in progress over there.
I do, as long as it's not too easily seen on camera.
Ooh, we won't hide, we won't show it then.
It's secret.
It's secret projects over here. Top secret Glenn's HQ. So here's kind of where the magic happens, huh?
Indeed. So this is the program called stud.io or studio, however you want to pronounce it. It's kind of a weird name, but essentially it's a database with Lego parts, and if I zoom in you can kind of get a better idea of it. So
Right.
it's a Lego part you can click and drag and rotate and things like that. And this is where the vast majority, if not all, of my most recent models have started. I've got the model for a nickel plate Burke here, which you've just seen on the floor.
Right.
So that's where it all starts, and then I can translate that into a bill of materials and then order what I need and build it in real life in front of me. And
It's CAD, but for Lego. Yeah.
We're doing the same things in your streams.
Yes.
It's kind of the same thing, but in a really nuanced way.
Yes, yeah, you have less customization over your pieces than I do.
To a degree.
To a degree, yeah.
Brett, I think it was Brett several weeks ago made the joke of it's a question of which one is going to have more pieces when they're finished.
My money's on you.
No, I think it's you. Should we bet against each other?
Yes, I'll take that bet.
Let's do it.
Always got more fun things going on, and I know that you've sent me snippets of stuff before, and it's like, what's he working on? And the last one I got, I want to say, was actually that engine.
Yep.
Which it was like, you can't know what this is, and I was like, well, it's a Pacific of some type, but I don't know what. And then it just turned out so beautifully. Just absolutely gorgeous. And
470 is the most recent one that I've completed. I have a soft spot for big Pacifics, and 470, in my humble opinion, is one of the most gorgeous Pacifics I think that's ever existed.
It's got such great proportions.
It really does.
And then
it's hard to argue with mid-20 Alco products.
And seeing the way that you have everything painted up, the color choices with all the rods done up the way.
The rods were a pain to accent that way, but it was worth it.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, that was interesting. So that was completed earlier this year. As of filming, we're in September now of 2024.
Right.
Time is fake, as always.
Time is fake, yeah. And the inside baseball on my end is that I don't have much that's actually filmed ready to edit right now. So this will probably...
So this is coming at a very good time.
It'll post probably around when I get home from trip, because we're out here in Pennsylvania, narrow gauge convention things, along with all sorts of fun. And yeah, so this will probably come out shortly after we film it.
Fantastic.
But goodness, just...
I would run it, but I don't have passenger cars for it right now, and it really only makes sense with the passenger cars.
Well, exactly.
That's
it's
in
a big
progress.
Pacific. So.
That's in progress.
Yeah.
They will be.
Well, we appreciate the kind of 101 on Lego trains.
Absolutely.
And scale model Lego trains at that. Not just a simple thing, it just so artfully done. And seeing the rods do the dance.
It looks like Baker valve gear.
It does. It looks like Baker gear. I mean, it works the way you'd expect it to. And it's really, really cool. Well, Glenn, appreciate so much you showing these things off, opening up your house to me, of course, because I'm also
You've been
staying
a wonderful
with them.
guest so far.
So far, so good, hopefully. But goodness, seeing all this stuff is so cool. So I'll include some links to your information down in the description. That way folks can kind of keep up with what he's got coming next, because well, you've won, obviously, the huge award this year, and seeing everything in person that you've done, I'm sure there's more to come on that front too.
Well,
so
all that stuff over there that nobody's allowed to see. Yeah,
yes.
It's on the way.
Yes, lots of fun things over there. So as always, thank you all for watching, and thank you, Glenn.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, we'll catch y'all next time.